What's going on, guys? It's Jake. We're back in for another YouTube video. Today we have more parts for the engine build. So we have some TGV deletes that I want to show you guys, and also a oil fill tube from Torque Solutions. So if you guys like this type of content, be sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button. Let's get right into it, show you guys these parts. All right, guys, so I have a little display here, already unboxed everything. Here are the TGV deletes. These are IAG V2 TGV deletes, and they are basically a copycat design of the Illuminati V2, which I really would have liked to have got the Illuminati just to have a little bit of a more unique kind of build. I feel like everybody kind of goes with the IAG stuff nowadays, but it was unfortunate because Illuminati is actually out of stock of theirs, and I do like their design a little bit better because they have an O-ring up top, but regardless, they're pretty much the same. So this is what we went with. Now I wanted to show you guys some of the benefits and the differences in these compared to stock TGVs. What's really to gain with putting something like this on your EJ build. So let's get right into it. As you guys can see, these are the ones I had for the previous build when we were making around 470 wheel. And these actually did work fine. You can see somebody worked some magic, took the butterfly valves out and welded them and ported them, so that way they would be TGV deletes and not have that butterfly valve in there. That butterfly valve, it will reduce some airflow there, and that's why people get rid of them. But I would recommend getting some sort of tune, maybe an E-tune. Maybe don't need a full Pro tune for these, but definitely an E-tune, something to get your engine, because it will run a bit lean without the butterfly valve. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, some of the benefits between actually deleting your stock TGVs and or going with a aftermarket TGV that is already deleted that never had a butterfly valve in it. So one thing you can see right off the bat is the port inside here is actually way smoother, and it was designed to be deleted, obviously. So these were designed for optimum airflow, and that's a huge benefit right there. Now also you can see that these aren't as bulky as these, and I actually do have a kitchen scale here to weigh them, but these aren't as bulky at all. You can see the V2 design actually does have a open center, which we will utilize routing some crankcase breathers through them, but I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. Another thing I really like about the IAG design, which was, I believe, copied from Illuminati, is that they are only bolted from the bottom. Now, what I'm basically trying to get at is you can see that this has a channel to bolt it all the way through the top of the TGV, whereas this one is only bolted at the bottom. And you guys will be able to see this a little better when I put both of these on the engine, and you can kind of tell the differences side by side here in a little bit. And what that can also help with is the routing around the edge for harnesses or anything like that that you might have to route, hoses, etc. But let's go ahead and weigh these things and see the difference in them. I'm gonna weigh them on a gram scale, and I'm gonna weigh them both at the same time so we can calculate the total amount of difference. So as you can see, stock ones are right around 1,770 grams. I'm super curious to see what these are. They are actually a lot lighter. So let's see, put those on there, 968 grams. So let's go ahead and do the math, and we'll see exactly how much different that is. So 802 grams less for these IAG TGV deletes. Now, that's not a super big amount, but it's definitely something. And I'll divide that by 28 right now to figure out how many ounces that is. So that is 28.64 ounces, which is almost 2 pounds difference. And it's kind of crazy. You can almost lose 2 pounds just from changing out your TGVs with the new ones. So that's almost it. The one thing that it'll also help with is airflow in between the cylinders. You'll always want your charge temperatures to be as cool as possible. So this having a gap in here, whereas the OEM one has a closed channel right there, it doesn't help with airflow. And on the new ones, the airflow will be a lot better. Now that we've kind of gone over the TGV deletes, let's look at the oil fill tube. So this is by Torque Solutions, their EJ short oil fill tube. And the reason why I really did this was because when we go to make the intercooler piping, we might have some clearance issues with the stock oil fill tube, and this will solve that completely. So I'm not going to weigh this and the original one because the difference is probably extremely minimal. We're going to install this here today, get a good look at it so you guys can see. But without further ado, let's go ahead and put one of each of the TGVs on the engine, so that way you can see the differences. Now that I have both of them set on the engine, you guys can see the differences. I also have the PCV lines routed for the middle and the outside carrying case breathers for the block. And I actually made these out of 8AN regular fuel line, which that will be very suitable and do everything we need it to do. And I'm really happy with how clean it is. But anyway, you guys can see how on this side, we have it pretty much fitting exactly where it needs to, and we still have some clearance on that hose and the TGV. And also coming through the center there, I'm not sure if you can see it, these ones are gonna be routed to the catch can setup we will be running. And also the fuel rails do go on here and they do clear the top of this fitting. This is a low profile Fragolia 8AN 90 fitting. So very, very, very happy with this fitting. It actually saved the idea because originally I was gonna put a 90 and another 90, but that wouldn't have worked. It would have hit the top of the fuel rails. So that will be able to come through here. Now we'll go over here and look at the stock TGV. Obviously, first thing you can see is this fitting will not work because it would hit straight into the TGV. And also where this hose is, it's hard to see, but we can't even get that bolt holder line up, especially not when we screw this all the way in. It pushes the TGV forward and this just simply wouldn't work. Now, if I put this to the side, you guys can see, I'll bring this one over and it goes on there perfect. It lines up with the holes, everything's right and tight, and our hose has a huge amount of clearance here. So that's gonna be great. And we'll also be able to run a lot of harnesses through here for our injectors, for our ABCS, or our cam sensors, stuff like that. So just an all-around better option. Super, super happy with these. Like I said, unfortunate we couldn't go with Illuminati, but we did what we had to do and we got a hold of these. So super happy with them. So now that we've gone over the TGV delete, I'll show you guys the oil fill tube next to each other. So here's the torque solution one next to the original one. As you can see, it's gonna change out where the tube is significantly. It's gonna put it right here on the side. So let's go ahead and get that thing installed. It's just gonna be a couple 10mm ones, and the torque solution actually does come with new hardware. So that's great, gonna clean the look up a lot. So I'm super excited to get that on here. And yeah, let's go ahead and get it on and we'll show you guys when we're done. All right guys, so you can see the difference. We had the stock oil tube and then the torque solution one. I'm super, super happy with this. I really like the Allen hardware that it comes with. The only thing is you can't really get a socket in there, so you just have to tighten it up with an actual Allen wrench, which is fine, just something to keep in mind. So super happy with this stuff. Both the TGV deletes and the oil fill tube, super happy with them. This is gonna be where we're gonna conclude the video for today. We're gonna be back showing you guys the fuel rails and what I plan on doing with all the fuel lines for the top of the engine. So be sure to stay tuned, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, comment, let me know what you guys wanna see, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.